Alright, so I've had the MotoActive watch for about a year now, and basically just an Android watch that can keep track of where you run, has a GPS in it, it has a 8 GB MP3 player with a headphone jack, it does Bluetooth. If you have wireless Bluetooth headphones, you can listen to them while you run. It's pretty cool. Anyway, today I decided I'm going to take it apart, so I'm going to slide it off the wristband here, grab my non-marring tool and kind of pry from the outside between the plastic edge and the screen, just kind of wiggle it down in there, and then the screen pops out actually surprisingly easy. Here you can see the ribbon cables that attach it to the motherboard. And if you lift it up from the bottom right there, you can see that the ribbon cables have a little latch that holds them in place. And if you grab the little, well, first of all, grab the piece of tape off the top. And then if you lift up on the little black piece right here, that's the clamp that kind of holds the ribbon cable in place. So now that I've released that, I can kind of wiggle the ribbon cables out of the clamp, and that releases the screen. So if you ever cracked your screen on the MotoActive, that's how to replace it. Pop it off, pop the new one in place, and you're good to go. You don't need to mess with anything else on it. So the battery pops out. It's just taped in there on the bottom with double-sided sticky tape. So you can just lift that up and off. So if you need to replace the battery, that would be how to do it. And then there's one screw holding the motherboard into place. It's a very small Phillips head. There's a little rubber piece around the charging port that kind of helps, with shock and stuff like that. So kind of put that somewhere where you're going to find it. And then if you lift up very gently on the ribbon cable, you can pry the motherboard out. And there's one ribbon cable holding the motherboard into the frame of the watch still. And it's the same concept as the other ribbon cables. Just kind of grab your little tweezers and pop up the little latch. And then the motherboard is now free from the back housing. The large ribbon cable that goes from the motherboard to the screen, the other half of it, same thing, lift off the sticky tape, grab the little black latch and lift that up. Then you're free from that. Battery pops off as well, and now all the components are separate from each other, including the headphone jack, which is interesting. Only Motorola seems to do the headphone jack in that way. It's the same thing on the Motorola Photon, their phone. Anyway, popping the battery back in, ribbon cable back in. This is all the same way that you took everything apart. Latch everything down into place. Put the piece of tape back on top of the ribbon cables as well. It helps them from coming loose. Now here's the part where it kind of got tricky. So underneath the headphone jack, there was another place for a ribbon cable. I actually took that off the bottom part and put it into the motherboard before I did this step. This step, I'm connecting the motherboard back into the back housing, and you'll see why I took off the headphone jack ribbon cable right here, because it makes it much easier to lift up the motherboard a little bit, put the headphone jack back down on top of the ribbon cable connection, and then kind of wedge it into place just like this. Make sure the headphone jack is put into like the rubber where it came out of. That kind of helps like the waterproof part of it. Anyway, put the screw back into place, the rubber grommet thing back on top of the charging port, and then the screen just reattaches right into here with the old ribbon cable connectors, and make sure you latch it back down into place and put the tape on top. And you can see that it turns on, even without being snapped back fully into place. And everything still works. All my music is in here. Anyway, I will put a link in the video description to Amazon so you can check out more specs of this particular watch. I've used it a lot. It's great for mountain biking to tell how far you've gone, elevation change. The GPS on it's pretty awesome. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comments. Don't forget to like if this video helped you, and don't forget to subscribe. I usually take apart a bunch of high-tech electronic stuff on a regular basis.